November 30th, 2013, from NRG Stadium in Houston, Texas. It was the Tennessee Titan at the Houston Texans in this AFC South Division rivalry matchup. Tennessee won the toss. They elected to defer, so the Texans would take over first in this game. They'd start off on their own 20. They were faced with a 3rd and 4 from the 26, and Fitzpatrick hit Hopkins for a 10-yard reception and a first down at the 36. Then on 3rd and 4 from the 42, Foster ran for 15 yards and brought the ball across midfield and into Tennessee territory with a first down on the 43. They would then be faced with a 4th and 2 from the 35. They elected to go for it, and Fitzpatrick picked up the first down with a 14-yard run right up the middle. So now it was a first down on the 21. And then on 3rd and 4 from the 15, Fitzpatrick hit Hopkins for a 7-yard pass. It was now a 1st and goal on the 8. Fitzpatrick dropped back and he hit Griffin for an 8-yard touchdown. And the Texans put the first points on the scoreboard as it was now Houston 7, Tennessee 0. So now Tennessee would take over with 7.5 minutes left in the first. They had it on their own 20 to start their possession. And on 2nd and 7 from the 23, Zach Mettenberger was intercepted by Joseph. And so now the Texans would take over on the Tennessee 20 with just under 7 minutes left in the first. Then on 3rd and goal from the 7, Fitzpatrick hit Arian Foster for a 7-yard touchdown. It was now 14-0. Texans over the Titans. So now Tennessee would take over on their own 20 with a little less than 5 minutes on the clock in the first. They'd be faced with a 3rd and 5, and Mettenberger would end up picking up 8 yards on a run to give him a first down on the 33. Mettenberger then found Hunter for an 18-yard pass that brought the ball to midfield at the 49. But then their drive would stall, and they would end up having to punt it from the 42 of the Texans on 4th and 3. And that would bring the first quarter to a close. So after 1 quarter of play, the score was Houston 14, Tennessee 0. So now to begin the second quarter, the Texans would have the ball on their own 10-yard line. They would end up punting the ball as they went 3 and out. So now Tennessee would take over with about 13.5 minutes left before halftime. They had it on their own 30. They brought the ball into Houston territory, but their drive stalled on the 45, and they punted it back to Houston. So now the Texans would take over in the shadow of their own end zone, literally, on their own 1-yard line with a little over 10 minutes left in the second quarter. Fitzpatrick dropped back and he hit Hopkins for a 31-yard pass that made a first down on the 32. Then on 3rd and 6 from the 36, Fitzpatrick hit Johnson for a 7-yard pass and a first down at the 43. Then on 3rd and 8 from the 45, Fitzpatrick hit Johnson, this time for 15 yards. It was now first down in Tennessee territory at the 40. Arian Foster then ran for 10 yards and a first down to the 30. And then on 3rd and 5 from the 25, Fitzpatrick hit Foster for a 7-yard pass and made a first down in the red zone on the Tennessee 18-yard line. Their drive would end up stalling, though, on the 19, and Randy Bullock would come out to attempt the 37-yard field goal. It was up, it was good. And the Texans now led 17-0 as they opened this game up with 17 unanswered points against the Titans. So now Tennessee would take over with a little under 3.5 minutes left in the first half. They had it on their own 20, but after reaching their 37, the drive stalled, and they would punt after 7 plays. So now Houston would take over with less than a minute on the clock before halftime. They had it on their own 30. Fitzpatrick went to Hopkins, was incomplete, but there was a pass interference call, so now it was a first down on the 42. Fitzpatrick then dropped back and he found Hopkins for a 58-yard touchdown pass, and it was now 24-0 Houston over Tennessee. So now Tennessee got the ball with about a half a minute left before halftime, and they wouldn't get anywhere, and they brought the first half to a close. So after 1 half of play, the score was Houston 24, Tennessee 0. So to open things up in the second half, Tennessee would get the ball first. They started off on their own 20, and on 2nd and 10, there was a penalty, offensive pass interference, and there was also a defensive pass interference. It ended up being offsetting, and now on 3rd and 10, Mettenberger found Hagan for a 20-yard pass, and it was now a first down on the 40. So then on 2nd and 7 from the 43, Mettenberger found Hagan again, this time for 19 yards and a first down in Houston territory at the 38. Then on 2nd and 8 from the 36, Mettenberger found Wright for a 36-yard touchdown as the Tennessee Titans got their first points on the scoreboard, with the score now Houston 24, Tennessee 7. So now Houston would take over with a little over 12 minutes left in the third. They had it on their own 20, but they would end up punting from their own 37 6 plays later. So now Tennessee would take over on their own 38, but on 3rd and 3 from the 45. Actually, first on 2nd and 10, Mettenberger was injured. He was injured by J.J. Watt, and he was taken out of the game. And so now Locker came into the game, and he was intercepted on his first pass, his first play under center in this game. And now it would be Houston's ball on the Tennessee 37. And he was intercepted by Roll. So now with 8.5 minutes on the clock in the third, Fitzpatrick dropped back to pass. He hit Johnson, but he ended up being blown up by McCourty. He forced the fumble. It was recovered by McCourty, and he ran it all the way back 62 yards for the touchdown. And it was now a 10-point game with the score Houston 24, Tennessee 14. So now the Texans would take over with about 8 minutes left in the third. They had it on their own 20. And on 2nd and 7 from the 23, Fitzpatrick found Hopkins for an 8-yard pass and a first down. Then on 2nd and 9 from the 32, Fitzpatrick found Martin for a 32-yard reception that brought the ball across midfield and into Tennessee territory at the 36. Then on 3rd and 8 from the 34, Fitzpatrick went deep to Hopkins for a 34-yard touchdown pass. And it was now 31-14, Texans over the Titans. So now Tennessee would take over with less than 5 minutes left in the third. They had it on their own 20, but after 6 plays, they would end up punting from their own 25. Although they did reach as far as the 47, they just started going backwards. Of course, part of that was sacks and penalties. But now Houston would take over on their own 27. They actually went 3 and out as they ended the third quarter with the punt. And after 3 quarters of play, the score was Houston 31, Tennessee 14. So now to open up the fourth quarter, the Titans had the ball on their own 25, but now they would go 3 and out. So now Houston would take over with 14.5 minutes left in the fourth. They had it on their own 26. They actually went backwards on the first play, but on 3rd and 17, Foster ran for 18 yards and a first down to bring the ball to the 37. Then on 3rd and 7 from the 40, Fitzpatrick hit Hopkins for a 56-yard reception, and it was now 1st and goal on the 4 for the Titans. And after an incomplete pass would bring up 2nd and goal, Fitzpatrick found Johnson for a 4-yard touchdown pass, and it was now Houston 38, Tennessee 14. So now Tennessee would take over with 11 minutes left in this game. They had it on their own 37. And on 2nd and 3 from the 44, McCluster picked up a first down with a 4-yard run. Now it's 1st and 10 on the 48, and Jake Locker was sacked by J.J. Watt. He forced the fumble, and he recovered it. And so now it was Houston's ball on the Tennessee 24 with less than 10 minutes left in the game. Fitzpatrick then hit Hopkins for a 23-yard pass. Now it was 1st and goal on the 1. And they brought J.J. Watt in, and Fitzpatrick threw a pass, and Watt made an incredible reception. There was lots of incredible receptions in this game, but J.J. Watt is a defensive player diving past the defender, making the catch right there in the end zone for the 1-yard touchdown pass that made it Houston 45, Tennessee 14. So now the Titans would take over with a little less than 9 minutes left in this game. They had it on their own 20. They would bring the ball into Houston territory, but on 1st and 10 in the red zone from the Houston 16, Jake Locker dropped back to pass, and he was intercepted by Boye. So now it was 1st down and 10 on the Tennessee 30 for the Texans with less than 6 minutes left on the clock. They would actually end up punting, though, 5 plays late. Actually, they went for the field goal after 5 plays, and it was missed. Bullock kicked a 43-yarder. It was no good, and it remained 45-14 Houston over Tennessee. So now the Titans would take over on their own 34 with about 3.5 minutes left in this game. They actually got a couple of first downs, and they got into Houston territory. And on 1st and 10 from the Houston 25, Jake Locker found Nate Washington for a 25-yard touchdown. And it was now Houston 45, Tennessee 21. All that was left to do at this point was for Houston to take a couple knees as Savage was in there. And the final score, Houston 45, Tennessee 21. And with the victory, the Texans are now at 500 with a record of 6-6. They're 3-3 at home. The Titans dropped to 2-10. They're 1-6 on the road. And in this game, Ryan Fitzpatrick was 24 for 33 with 358 yards passing and 6 touchdowns. He's actually the third quarterback to throw 6 touchdowns this season. Zach Mettenberger was 13 for 19 with 184 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. And Jake Locker was 6 for 12 with 91 yards, 1 touchdown, and 2 interceptions. The leading rusher in this game was Arian Foster with 19 carries for 79 yards. Fitzpatrick actually had 2 carries for 10 yards as well. And the leading receiver in this game was DeAndre Hopkins. He had 9 receptions for 238 yards and 2 touchdowns. And for Tennessee, Kendall Wright had 132 yards off of 7 receptions and a touchdown as well. And the leading tackler in this game was actually for Tennessee. It was George Wilson. He had 9 tackles in this game. The leading tackler for the Texans was DJ Swearinger. He had 7 tackles. The Texans had 3 sacks in this game. J.J. Watt had 2 of those sacks, and Jamison had the other one. And the Titans did not have any sacks in the game, nor did they have any interceptions. Houston had 3 interceptions, and that was Boye, Joseph, and Roll. So the Houston Texans win this game. They win big. The final score, Houston 45, Tennessee 21.